everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Driving for Dollars Mastery Show. Super excited about today's show. I'm going to be breaking down how to cold call your Driving for Dollars list. If y'all have been following me, you may know that I took $1,000 and turned it into $93,000 in just 40 days. I flew across the country and I wanted to challenge myself. My goal was only to make $40,000, which is the average American income. I got $1,000, and the way I was going to use that $1,000 is I was going to use the Deal Machine app to find ugly houses, and then I was going to buy phone numbers for the people that own those houses and cold call them and see if they'd sell. Once I found someone that wanted to sell for speed and convenience over price, I'd get it under contract at a discount and sell that opportunity without having to close on it, without having to have money to buy it. I was able to sell 3 agreements, 3 pieces of paper. I sold them for $93,000. I did all this through driving and cold calling. So in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about my cold calling script, what I say, why I say it, how I say it, to give you guys some tips and action steps to get started today to go do some cold calling yourself to your Driving for Dollars list. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Let's dive in. One more ask before we dive in. I wanted to ask each of you, please, if you find value from this, share with a friend or a family member, shoot them a text with the link to this podcast or this episode, and let's dive in. So when you use the Deal Machine app, you're going to find the name and the owner and the address, and you can even get phone numbers from Deal Machine. I use Deal Machine exclusively to add addresses. It's the most efficient one. You can use the discount code PIN, P-I-N, to get a free trial and to get free phone numbers, a certain amount, and postcards and in-app spending. So you can get your phone numbers directly from them. You can call directly within the app there. And it's a great source to do that. But what I did to save a little bit of money is I used Deal Machine to add the properties with the discount code PIN. Then what I did is I bought my phone numbers. I exported that Excel spreadsheet. That Excel spreadsheet from Deal Machine had the property address, the mailing address, the owner's name and info. And then I took that information, got phone numbers from Batch Skip Tracing. You go to batchskiptracing.com. You can buy phone numbers at a much cheaper price if you use the discount code DFD, stands for Driving for Dollars, DFD. So then I went over and got phone numbers. Once I got that, I uploaded it into mojosales.com, and what mojosales.com allowed me to do was to cold call that list and call multiple people at one time. So imagine you have your phone and you're having to hand dial all these numbers, right? You got the Excel spreadsheet in front of you and you hand dial and you call and you wait and you wait and you wait. Nobody answers, you hang up, hand dial, call, wait. It takes forever to get anyone on the phone. The goal is to talk to as many people with ugly houses as possible. The more conversations you have, the more chances you are going to find more people that want to sell. And once you do find that someone that wants to sell, that's not enough. You want someone that wants speed and convenience over price. You want someone that wants an investor. They don't want to deal with the headaches. So it's important to talk to as many people as possible. Without volume, you won't have success, okay? It's the facts, it's what needs to happen. So Mojo allowed me to call 3 people at one time. I'm dialing through 3 numbers. I don't have to hand dial anything. It's calling for me. If one person answers, it goes live on my headphones. I get to talk to them and make notes on my computer. There's a link to the Zillow account, has their address, has all the information, pops up right there live for me to talk to them. If I'm on the phone with someone and someone else's answers as they're dialing through, it has a voice recording that says, hello, I'm gonna have to call you back. Issues with my phone. As soon as I hang up with the other seller, I immediately calls back that other person and I can talk to them. Okay, so that's the systems. That's what's going to make you successful, right? On the front end, you got to set up your systems to be successful. I teach all of that step by step, outlined exactly how to do it for my students, and we can talk about that. But you guys can go out and do that and figure that out if you'd like to. Okay, now let's get into what I promised you guys is the script, what to say and how to say it. If you guys want to see these calls live and see these happening, I would go check out day 4 of the 40-day challenge if you have not seen it. So on my YouTube channel, Driving for Dollars Mastery with Zack Boothe, you can go over there in the playlist section. You can see the 40-day challenge day 4. I talked to multiple sellers that wanted to sell. I got 3 contracts that day. It was an exciting day. Made a ton of money that day. So you can hear my conversations and see it happening. You see me get yeses, you see me get nos, you see me get tire kickers, you see me get a yes that turns into 3 contracts. So it's a great day if you want to see it live so you know that legitimately this stuff is real and not just me talking on a podcast. So the first thing you ask, what I like to say is, hey, I'm not sure if I have the right number. You most likely do, and sometimes you don't. But that way you step into the conversation kind of hesitantly, and there's not very many salesmen that step into the conversation that way. Most salesmen that step into a conversation, they go, "Hi, can I speak with Mr. Boothe?" Right? Or Mr. Smith or Mrs. Smith. Instead of just going, "Hey, I'm not sure if I have the wrong number." Because then it sounds like a friend or someone that's kind of been reaching out, trying to figure out what's going on, right? And so then it piques curiosity. That's why I always start it that way. And I say, "Hey, I'm not sure if I have the right number or not. I'm trying to find the owner of," and I have the owner's info right in front of me, 123 Elm Street. If they own it, they're going to say, "Yeah, I own it. What's this about?" Or they'll say, "Yeah, who is this?" Right? If they own it, those are the answers you're going to get, right? Because if they don't own it, they're not going to say that. They're going to be like, "I think you have the wrong number," because you said I might have the wrong number. So you're going to know quickly, do they own it or is it the wrong number? So if you get the answer that, yeah, they potentially own it, it's like, yeah, no, it's completely out of the blue. I was just looking to see if you would sell it or if you'd consider an offer on the property. From there, you're going to get various responses. You're going to get yes, no, sometimes very colorful no's, or you're going to get questions. You're going to get, who is this? What company is this? So with a no, it's very easy. You go into the next step. Okay, would you have any others you'd like to sell or consider an offer on? No, have a wonderful day. Move on to the next. Yes, we'll talk about that one. The ones where they ask you other questions like, who is this? Remember, anytime anyone asks you a question, don't just respond with an answer, because they're going to ask you another question, another question, another question, and you're going to feel like you're selling them and you're not going to know what they want. The worst thing you can do is just keep answering questions. So what you do is when they ask you a question like, who is this? Say, yeah, my name's Zack. I'm just a local investor. Again, do you have any interest in selling your house? So you immediately answer the question politely, confidently, and immediately fire back with a question. Your job is to qualify people and find out if what you do as an investor is in their best interest. You're not supposed to convince anyone of anything. Don't convince anyone. Ask them, pre-qualify them, not convince them. So once that person ask you the question, you fire back, do you have any interest in selling the house? Be like, well, it depends on how much. How much could you spend? It's like, oh, well, it depends largely on the condition of the house. Have you been thinking about selling for long? Right? You're trying to find out, do they really want to sell or are they just tire kickers? Right? Usually when people are super skeptical, asking a ton of questions, 90% of the time they're just tire kickers. They're pissed off that you called them out of the blue. How dare you call me? I don't want to sell. My grandfather built a house, and they all get all personal about it, right? But sometimes they do want to sell. So it's very important to try and figure out, are they just tire kickers wasting your time and they're just curious why you're calling them, or do they really want to sell the house? So get to that, yes or no. That's what we're trying to get to originally. If they say yes, now's the next step. How do we discover if they want speed and convenience over price? As soon as they say yes, I say, oh great, I'd love to make you an offer. I've only driven by the outside. I don't really know the condition. I see online that it's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. Is that correct? Right? Then you take the Zillow information. If you don't have anything on Zillow, say, well, I drove by the house, but Zillow doesn't show, or online I can't find any information on bedrooms and bathrooms. What's the bedrooms and bathrooms on this thing and square footage? They don't know. It's like, okay, well, I can do some more digging and see if I can find more info on county records. What's the condition? Can you tell me about the condition of the house? And if they get annoyed by these questions, if they get annoyed by you trying to figure out the house, the condition, their timeline, how much they want to make on the property, if they get annoyed, that's usually a sign that they're not super motivated, right? They were just curious what you'd offer. But the people that are very helpful and will answer questions and are super receptive, they're usually a lot more motivated. They're like, man, that'd be super nice to sell this pain in the butt house. I don't want to deal with it. So keep that in mind. The big kicker, the biggest thing that you're trying to understand when someone says yes is to help them understand that they could potentially get more by not working with you. They could potentially get more by fixing it up themselves and listing it with an agent. Why don't you do that? Have you thought about doing that? And if their response is, I don't want to, I don't care, I don't want to deal with it. The problem is it's in probate and I can't sell it the traditional route and I have all these things. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for someone that doesn't want an agent, that doesn't want to deal with it. Once you have gotten to that point, that is what we're looking for. That is a motivated seller. That is how you're going to make money in this space, is by finding people that we can help and that we can serve with what we do, that we qualify them, that is our ideal client, that is who we're going to help and serve, and not convincing them that's who we're going to help and serve. So that is my advice on the first steps of cold calling. From there comes in negotiations and evaluating the house and all of the steps of finalizing the deal, which may seem overwhelming. So that is why I highly suggest you get a mentor. It's why I highly suggest you get a mentor that understands every step, is going to help you through the steps, that's going to be there for you. I'm not the only great mentor out there, but if you're curious about my mentorship, I would love to talk to you about it. Go to dftmastery.com/get started. There'll be a link in the bio. Make sure you go book a call if you have any curiosity about my coaching, having direct access to me, my cell phone, my exact scripts, how to set up all the tech, everything A through Z to get your first deal. I would love to serve you and help you. And I'm going to say this as a recap. Whenever you're talking to a seller, whenever you're talking to someone that may want to sell your house, I want you to pay attention to what you say and how you say it. If you feel like you were talking to your aunt or your uncle, your brother or your sister that you love dearly, would your negotiations tactics change? If they would change, then you are doing it wrong and you are not doing it with high integrity. If any of my family member called and said they wanted to sell me their house, my script, my sales process, and my tactics would not change, not one bit. I would say, hey, well, I'm an investor. You might make more money elsewhere. I can make it convenient for you, but I still want to make some money. I could do my best for you, but I have a business and people to take care of. And they'd be like, no, we understand that, Zach. We want speed and convenience, right? And I have had this happen. I've had cousins call me, right? Say, hey, I want to sell my house. I don't want to deal with it. Can you help me? Like, sure, I'd love to. And so remember that. That is the rule of thumb that I always want you to remember. It's I preach it to my students, and it's going to make you a better negotiator. It's going to build trust. It's going to help you build rapport. You're going to get more contracts because of this, because people can smell the BS. People want to work with people that they like and they trust. So make sure that you are worthy of that like and that trust, and that you're doing things with high integrity. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us on another episode. I appreciate you being with me. Make sure you share this with a friend or a family member, and we'll see you in the next one.